What is going on, guys? It's Steeler here, back again, bringing you all the biggest news regarding NPD 2017, the winners, the losers, some of the biggest news of the holiday, and of course, these numbers have more validity behind them now. More websites are starting to talk about these things, so I'm going to tell you what they want you to hear, and of course, more notably, what they don't want you to hear, what they don't want you to think about. I think it's all very important. I think it's important to take in the big picture here, and of course, before I do that, I have to say, if you didn't check out RDX Podcast, phenomenal show. Please do so. I'll link that down below. Thank you so much. And let's get into the news. So, while we have all the information here, I think it's important to note that, I've said this before, I do not care about sales, alright? Before we get into it, before anyone starts commenting about anything, before you just don't know what you're talking about, and of course you feel the need to spew it on the comments below, I have never really cared about sales. I've said it when the S1 NPDs last year, good job Xbox, but hey, I don't care. The only time I do care about sales is when a really good product doesn't sell enough and it won't get a sequel or a refinement in the future. That is true, yes. But when you have two consoles like the Xbox One and the PS4 that have been confirmed to be doing better, especially revenue-wise, than the 360 and PS3 last generation, I'm not too worried about if a platform is failing, because these things are doing absolutely phenomenally. Now, if you're still one of those guys in the comments with the samurai sword and some ninja stars defending sales, saying it's the end-all be-all, I have to deconstruct that for you real quick and remind you that the Nintendo Wii destroyed both PS3 and Xbox 360 last generation. Now, of course, did that lower the value or the enjoyment that you got from your PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360? Probably not. You simply like what you like. So, as we get into the news here, it's important to note, guys, that this does come from a website. I'll link it down below. Of course, other websites are saying the same exact thing, and the numbers are what they are. Now, according to these sites, Sony has taken November NPD with around 1.58 million PlayStation 4 sold in the month of November 2017. I think it has to be mentioned, too, that this is PlayStation's most successful month of all time with the PlayStation 4, beating out even the PlayStation 4 launch back in November 2013. The numbers are absolutely amazing. Like I said, about 1.5 million PlayStation 4 sold. Really good for Sony. Now, when it comes to Xbox, they are saying it's around 1.4 million consoles, somewhere in between 1.4 and 1.5. Hey, let's do the simple math. 1.4 million Xbox Ones sold in November 2017 alone. That is absolutely phenomenal. Now, Sony had some amazing bundles that really did work. According to Target, those bundles destroyed everything. Really good value there. And, of course, Microsoft had the advantage of the Xbox One X and its pre-orders to help out in November. Turns out, Sony still pulled out the edge. It's also worth pointing out that Microsoft did generate the most revenue over November 2017, meaning between PlayStation 4 and Xbox One as a product brought back more money to Microsoft than the PlayStation 4 did to Sony. So, of course, that's common sense with the Xbox One X out there. They're making money there. They're bringing back a lot of money from the investment in the console there. And, of course, they generate the most profit and revenue as a result. So, while I do have some revealing software numbers for both PlayStation and Xbox that I'm really going to go into here in a second, if you're going to take anything away from the first half of this video, the NPD numbers, things like that, take away this. Both platform holders are doing extremely well. The Xbox One made Microsoft a ton of money in November. The PlayStation 4 continues to make tons of money for Sony over November's sales. It's absolutely great for everyone involved, and more importantly, it shows higher investment on behalf of the companies at hand and the consumers that buy these products. Let's take a look back at 2012 and 2013's analysts saying mobile gaming was the future. Consoles were going to die out. You know, that kind of makes you want to laugh. So I'm really good things have turned out how they have, and I'm even more excited for the studios and games coming from Microsoft, according to Phil Spencer. $1 billion invested about 6-8 months ago, building studios, buying studios, etc. And of course, Sony are getting on the ball. Their games are really starting to hit in 2018 as well. Good stuff on both sides of the aisle. Now, I think this is the more interesting part of the story when it comes to the software sales and how well the games sold on these platforms. Now, of course, the top 20 games of the year, according to DualShockers, are as followed. You've got Call of Duty World War II, you've got Star Wars Battlefront 2, you've got Assassin's Creed Origins, NBA 2K18, you've got NFL 18, Madden of course, Super Mario Odyssey, FIFA 18, Need for Speed Payback, Destiny 2, Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, respectively, Middle-earth Shadow of War. You've also got Grand Theft Auto 5, the game that won't die, Sims 4, The Legend of Zelda, Mario Kart 8, Wolfenstein 2, absolutely phenomenal and should be higher on that list, South Park, The Fractured Butthole, WWE 2K18, and of course, you've got Just Dance 2018. So of course, some of these games are surprising to me, but shows you that there are games to play apparently, because those are the games that people are buying. Now, when we compile information of the best-selling games on Xbox One and the best-selling games for PlayStation 4 in 2017, the top 10, we end up with, well, something that looks a bit like this. Now, what do you notice about this list? Look carefully. There is only one exclusive amongst the two, and it is not on PlayStation. So I think that is worth talking about for a second. And I've got to wrap my head around this, because for the past, I don't know, nearly a year, I've been being told that, hey, there are no games on Xbox. Why would you get an Xbox One X? What are you going to play on your Xbox One X? Blah, blah, blah. And then we get these numbers, where PlayStation 4 has 0 exclusives, with a capital Z, in the top 10 when it comes to sales on their platform for the entire year. You mean to tell me that the Xbox One has one, but PlayStation doesn't? We have to thank the guys that constantly say Xbox has no games as the reason that we're even talking about this, because from my perspective as a pro owner, as an Xbox owner, as a PC owner, I am playing all of the things that I want to play, right? Factually, I have access to everything. I can play everything on multiple platforms even if I choose. But what am I playing? Ultimately, what am I playing? We just saw what I was playing. It was on that list. Top 20 games of the year. Call of Duty's out there. Assassin's Creed's out there. Wolfenstein's out there. Star Wars is out there. I'm actually enjoying Fallout 4 right now. There are a ton of games that I am playing right now. But how am I doing so considering that Microsoft and Xbox have no games? So when you do make that claim that Microsoft had no games, Xbox has no games, you've got to be very specific or you will be destroyed. Now, what I think those people are trying to say is Xbox has no third-party support. And of course they have third-party support. We just saw it on the most popular games list, but I know what they're saying. It needs more third-party support. Games like Hellblade should have been on Xbox from launch, but it never got there. And of course, that doesn't mean it will never get there, but I am hoping that it does. That should be a non-issue, Phil Spencer. I hope Phil doubles down on some of this stuff, gets those third-party games over, because when people look at that list of exclusives, 97% of them are third-party titles that never came to Xbox, at least not yet. Now, when we talk about first-party support, absolutely, yes, they do need more variety there. As a matter of fact, I've said this countless times on my own podcast. You know, it's not my fault some of these fanboys don't watch the podcasts and stuff where I really get deep in on my opinions on some of this stuff. They need more mature, narrative-driven titles on the Xbox One. Now, of course, Gears 4, great game, great multiplayer. Halo 5, great multiplayer. I need something like Rise of the Tomb Raider from Microsoft. I need something that's more mature, has more storytelling, is, of course, maybe of darker nature even. That's why Uncharted 2 and The Last of Us stand out for people. They are very well-told stories with a great narrative and pacing, great set pieces. I need something in this vein from Microsoft. Third person, open world perhaps, linear scale, whatever, action adventure title, something good with great writing, great storytelling, something that's going to stick with me. That's what's important. Now, that's just my opinion, and I only express those opinions because I am a fan of the platform, loving the Xbox One X, like Play Anywhere, though I rarely use it. I like options, I like pro-consumer choices, but I also like more mature, narrative-driven action-adventure games, similar to the things Sony are pushing, and I want that on Xbox. I think it will make the console better. I think it's a more rounded experience with games like that in the pipeline. I think we do have games like that coming our way. So, I think it's extremely important to remember that both Sony and Microsoft have and produce high-quality exclusives. It really depends on what you're looking for, and if you're a multi-console owner, hey, you get the best of all worlds. But as of right now, Sony have action-adventure open-world games locked. They've got it with Horizon, Uncharted, The Last of Us, Days Gone coming out here soon, things like that. Or Microsoft have racers locked with Forza 7. They got third-person shooters locked with Gears 4. They got first-person shooters locked with Halo 5. And, that's great for a lot of people, particularly those that love multiplayer. But at the end of the day, it comes down to your perspective, what you're into. People will say you have no games, but then I'll remind you that we've got 3 exclusives slated for the first half of 2018 with Crackdown 3, Sea of Thieves, and of course State of Decay 2. Now someone might look at Sea of Thieves and say, hey, that looks kiddie, I will never buy that, that sucks, it's trash. And I would say, hey, that's your opinion, while at the same time, they'll list to me things like Persona 5, Gravity Rush, things like that, and I'm cringing, because I would never buy those games in a million years. So it really depends on who you are, and for you to just look at games and say, I'm not interested in these 3 games, or these 6 games you have this year, so they're nothing, they don't exist, they're trash, no one likes them. That's absolutely asinine. I do not agree with that, and I just used Persona 5 as an example of a well-loved game on the Sony side. A lot of you guys like it, but I would never buy it in a billion years. That's just the difference in perspective and opinion. So once again, guys, if you liked the video, hit that like button. Of course, every time you share one of these videos, it really helps a lot as well. And of course, if you like this kind of content and the real talk, hit that subscribe button for more content like this. But anyways, guys, be sure and check out the links down below. I'll link RDX Podcast there as well. Thank you so much for the support. I'm Dealer. I'm out.